You've been doing a great job, Carolyn. A great job. And so we were talking about all these things that you're talking about, from the hair being cut and thinned, and a ritual as far as Kabbalistic tree life and all these things. These were all happening around the age of 6, 7, 8.
Yes.
Or,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. There's another element of this time in your life you wanted to bring up, dealing with a swimming incident.
Yes.
In other words, you used to be a great swimmer, and there was something that happened very interesting.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, and another thing I thought about bringing up was about the situations that involve different drugs and things that happen to me. The reason I would bring that up is in case other people can relate to it and they're wondering about it themselves. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it was interesting, first of all, how I got into competitive swimming. It was because my older brother had, when he was about, probably might have been about 4 years old, he became paralyzed on his right side. From what I had talked about with Dr. Bailey, he said right side paralysis can be caused through some programming. And my brother did have signs of being programmed. I do remember him being taken a few times. I don't think he was taken as often as I was. But we got into swimming is because when we were at the beach one year, we used to stay at the beach for a couple of weeks every summer. There was a family there, that Air Force family. I don't know if that's connected or not. There were a lot of people from the Air Force on my team. Well, this family was there at the place we were staying at. They suggested that since my brother, who had pretty much recovered from being paralyzed on his right side, suggested that we become competitive swimmers because that would help strengthen my brother's body, and that he would gain full control over his right side.
Let me pause you right there.
Yes.
You are beginning to blip in and out. I'm going to call you right back for you listeners. Just bear with us. This is only going to take another 10 seconds. We really appreciate having you all with us listening to the program. This is really exciting, and I'm learning, and I trust that a lot of people are going to be learning. Okay, Carolyn, praise God. You sound a lot better. Please continue.
Great. Yeah, I was wondering if I should even bring up what type of athlete I was, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we got on the swimming team as a way to help my older brother become stronger. And I had to wait a little later. I wasn't old enough yet at that time. I had to wait till the next year before I could swim. I started, I guess, at age 7. But I went from being not very athletic at all to all of a sudden I was like a star athlete when I was 7. I was great in track. I broke, I think my first meet, I broke the state record in freestyle. Second meet, I broke freestyle and butterfly. And when our team became sponsored by a soft drink company, well, one of these meets was against the Jacksonville Jets, Jacksonville Air Station. Our team had a bus. The NBC in Cincinnati, what am I saying? I did have some time in Cincinnati, but this was NBC in Tampa. They had us on, let's see, I think there were 2 different stations, sports stations, covered that. Well, I'd been on television a couple of times, and there's actually footage of me. For some reason, they kept putting me on camera. They had photographed me going from my car with a suitcase to the bus, interviewed me on the bus. We had the whole team on the bus with a few chaperones. So we go to Jacksonville on this bus with a few parents. I'm in this room by myself with 3 other little girls, the youngest 5 years old. I'm 7 or 8, I can't remember. I think I might have been 8 then. But anyway, we're all like, there's one that's 5, and the rest of us are 7 or 8 years old. 4 of us, by ourselves. We have an adjoining room with the door closed, with a parent, a female parent, with a few boys in that room. Well, that night, I mean, this seems strange. Why would you send your little girls off to stay by themselves in a room that has its own door that can open in the front, plus a window in the back or the side? I mean, it was like a little duplex thing. Well, in the middle of the night, we woke up. There were 2, it was dark in the room, there were 2 full-size male figures in our room. We all sat up in bed. I mean, I was in the bed farthest away, so I saw everybody else's heads pop up. So I'm by the wall. So I saw everybody. They're awake. Their little girls are awake. There are these guys in our room, 2 of them. And next thing we know, there's no memory. We wake up in the morning, and I'm thinking, wow, did you guys see those people that came in the room last night? And they go, yeah, what happened? You know, nobody could remember. One girl didn't remember at all. The others remembered that there was somebody in the room. And they thought, well, maybe it was the kids next door. And so we kind of left it at that. But when we got to the pool to swim, there on the bottom of the pool was this, the deep end, was this cockpit frame that it just freaked the 3 of us out that we remembered the men in the room or the guys in the room. It was a cockpit of what is known as the Dilbert Dunker. It's to train pilots. They strap them in, they send them from the top of this platform, crashing into the water. The pilots are supposed to get out of the cockpit, unstrap themselves, get out and get to the surface without drowning. Well, I kept having flashbacks, like of being in that cockpit and going down, crashing into the water and having to get out over and over. And another friend did too, but yet we didn't want to talk about it, and we started thinking, no, that wasn't true. We're just imagining it. Well, now years later, I wonder. It haunts me. I'm wondering, did I imagine it? The whole thing seems extremely weird. So that makes me wonder if maybe I was possibly being used, being watched, being trained for something, maybe being trained and then some of us selected later. I mean, I wasn't like the top swimmer in the nation. I was one of the top in the state. I was one of the top in the nation because of when you consider that I did go to nationals quite often. My relay team had 2 world records, so I mean that says something.
Yes, and this is actually really good because this is a radical story, and it also transitions us into kind of like your preteen age, because you swam for a while.
Yeah,
and one of the really... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. You swam for a long time, all the way through high school, but this transitions us forward. And of course, there were a lot of things going on. You talked about some specific incidents, but just these specific incidents are not the sum total of everything that was going on. Yeah. There was a lot, and there's no way we can possibly talk about everything. But I think that what you have shared paints a pretty good picture of a lot of the mysterious elements of your childhood, things you explain yet. But there was something very significant that...
Now you're cutting in and out.
12.
Can you hear me? Now you're cutting in and out.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you're talking about in
yes.
12? Like when I was 12?
Yes, that happened when you were 12.
Yes. That is, can I say something real quick about that kind of ties in with, before I get to that, something else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, this kind of goes in with the physical, too. I want to mention, too, that speaking about the competitive swimming, and I did track also, this was a very good part of my life. I was able to see good families with the fathers and the mothers and the children, just good people, good families. That was a good part of my life. I was kind of popular as a swimmer. In my real life, I wasn't that popular. Most people didn't care too much for me in my school. I was one of those people that was kind of ugly and had a unibrow, and I had clunky shoes. People didn't like me too much. I think part of the problem could have been maybe it was a hormone problem with, I think maybe I was being messed with. And this kind of goes into the drug part where at 6 years old, I started developing breasts. And it scared me to death. I didn't know what was happening to me. I thought I was going to die or something. So I asked God. I actually prayed to God because I had prayed to God when I was 4 years old, and His presence never left me. So I knew I could trust Him. So I asked God to take that away from me. I thought I was going to die. I didn't tell my mom. So I knew I could count on God. Well, it did disappear for a while. I mean, it did disappear, in fact, for a long time because when I ended up finally developing into a young lady, it was actually later than most young ladies do. I was pretty late on that. But also, I'm looking backwards at my life, and I see that there's certain symptoms I had that other people may notice that they have also that were in programming, and it's extreme fear of needles and alcohol, the smell of alcohol. It's just like it means you're going to die. It's not just fear. It's like you got to run for your life. That reaction on the physical level. Could never even understand it, but that's how I was. I have drug allergies and sensitivities now. I'm very sensitive to certain drugs. Well, I don't know. The drugs I was allergic to or sensitive to are the very ones that would have been used for the programming and mind control. Is that connected? I don't know, but that's something I wanted to mention. A couple of times I threw up something that looks exactly like activated charcoal. I threw it up when I was probably 10 or 12 years old. I didn't eat anything like that. I wasn't sick. As soon as I threw it up, I'm done. I threw up in the middle of the night, and that was it. I didn't tell anybody about it. And since then, I mean, that's haunted me too, and I've looked for ages to find out what it was, and I found that it looks like activated charcoal. Well, activated charcoal is used as an absorbent cleanser if you've been given poison. Maybe I was given poison. This is what I'm thinking. I was given something when I was taken at night, and they gave me the charcoal, got me home, and got me to bed so that... so I would throw up whatever it was. But I can tell you that I think I would have been a better swimmer. I think I would have been better at a lot of things, but I was tired. And now I know why I was tired. I was taking a lot at night. You can't perform as well if you don't get your proper sleep or nutrition, or you're pumped up with drugs to get you to do one thing and then to get you to forget. It's a miracle that I can even think now, to tell you the truth. So anyway, I got that part out. So now I can talk about when I was 12. A lot of things were going on at that time. See, one of the hard things about talking about my story is that so much was going on at the same time on different levels.
Yes.
There's stuff going on at school. There's stuff going on at swimming. There's stuff going on with my out-of-body stuff. There's stuff going on in my physical life with learning the occult. So
yes,
it's just like it gets jammed packed. It can get confusing. So
well, if you
okay,
let's continue with this because we're going to have to come back because right now we're kind of on your life, and for those of you that are listening. There are different elements of what was going on, and we are kind of skipping over a lot of the astral out-of-body and more supernatural experiences, including encounters with other beings like Greys and so forth that Carolyn also has as part of her testimony, which we will have to probably come back to in another show over the same time frame that we're talking about right now.